Okay. Well, is anything else coming to mind?
Yeah, I think vulnerabilities come to mind. I think that's something else I've been exploring with. So right now I'm starting to feel anxious for some reason, and it just kind of popped up. Wasn't there before. And I think being comfortable in sharing that has been a game changer. A couple of weeks ago, I was in this class and I just shared, oh, I have social anxiety. And I didn't like think, oh, going into that class, I was going to share that. And even after having shared it, I didn't really pause to think about that I shared it. But I'm glad I did. And I was able to, like 10 minutes later, to notice that I did. And that was really hard for me to share in the past before that class. It was always something that felt shameful to say I have social anxiety or that I'm feeling anxious right now. But I think at least gradually, in just sharing that out loud has made it easier and less shameful.
Mm-hmm. What's what do you think has happened to make you feel less shame over time?
I think practice with it. I've started to habituate sharing things that I feel shameful about. And that has not been like a disaster or catastrophe. It's made my shame actually go down. So,
Yeah, and you notice that you don't get judged or rejected, and then you feel less shame about it.
right.
Great. Yeah, that's like exactly how exposure for social anxiety works, and especially when there's like an element of shame involved too. So like shame or sharing is the antidote to shame. So when you feel shame, if you can share it, then you're less likely to feel it as intensely in the future.
Yeah, that's been my experience with this for sure.
Great. Well, it sounds like everything is going really well. Are there things in particular that you've learned in this experience that you want to share?
I think one thing I learned was how important it is to share my story and then the story that I tell myself. I think those two things have been interesting. I think it was the first interview you did with me that I talked about. There's like a process to being able to share my story, and over time, I try to get better at it, and I feel like I have. Um, and then the story I tell myself is really important because if I'm telling myself a story of I can't do this thing or I should be ashamed of having social anxiety, then it's really easy to just stay in a negative place. But if I tell myself a story of I can do all these things or I slipped that time, maybe next time I'll act in the way I want to. And that makes it easier to be more successful and do the things I want to do.
Yes, that is. So basically, you're shifting to the idea that overcoming what you struggle with is practice, not something that you have to perfectly be able to do the first time through.
Definitely.
Um, Great. All right. Well, thank you for everything you've shared. It sounds like you made a lot of progress, and I appreciate you being here to share. Thank you.
You.